Good morning. I want to talk today about the patterns of being. We need an evolutionary leap now. We have exhausted this current phase in the history of human consciousness. Living intellectually, totally in our heads, and acting on the basis of separateness and self-interest, we have overpopulated and trashed the planet, covered it in concrete, and created dysfunctional institutions that thrive on war and exploitation. As a species, we are not doing well. Much of our crisis arises from our gifts. We are clever and resourceful. We have developed this marvelous consciousness with which the cosmos endowed us. We are walking miracles ourselves. Yet, this consciousness has not been used to produce harmony and sustaining processes of life. We are living as if there is no tomorrow, and one day down the road that may very well be the case. Jean Gebser clearly outlined our present predicament. He said that when a stage of consciousness reaches its culmination, it begins to stagnate and creates crisis. The consciousness goes too far in one direction of development and becomes toxic to itself and human life. He identified the stage that we are in now as the mental stage, which began around 500 BC. After a great deal of development, in 2012, we have reached the destructive end of this phase. He could see that we have over-rationalized our world. We have forgotten vast parts of ourselves in order to focus on the mental. We have devolved into conditioned behavior that validates self-destructive tendencies such as personal greed. We are comfortable in a world where a small minority lives extremely well, while vast numbers of humans do not have enough clean water, enough food, and the basics for a decent life. The pathological behavior of the U.S. banking community, which launched a crusade of greed that almost brought down the entire world financial system, is a symptom that we should be registering. How is it that personal greed can so blind a community of men that they risk destroying the very system that supports not only our life, but their own? We must wake up and pay attention. The problem with evolution is that it generally takes a long time. It does not appear on demand. When it does appear, it takes unexpected turns and is totally unpredictable. In short, true evolution comes from someplace other than humans. It comes from being. In our present situation, nothing less than an evolutionary leap will divert our course toward destruction. However, we can attempt to do our part, which is to wake up and support positive change, to give it our very best try. What could we do to throw our efforts in a direction that might lead to solutions to our problems? What could we do to assist our own evolution now? A major step would be to open to being. We have been trapped for 400 years in a worldview that sees the cosmos as empty and dead, with only a few living things in it, such as ourselves. We need to move toward an understanding that the cosmos is not only alive, but aware and intelligent. It is not intelligent like a human being. Its intelligence is far beyond that. It is intelligent in its own way. It is, in fact, the principle of intelligence. Until we put being, the core truth in the framework of reality, into its central place of honor, we will carry a distorted, reductionist, dysfunctional version of reality. It is like trying to go swimming without the realization that there is water. With the realization of being in place, we would achieve our yearning to recover sacredness in our life and in the world. It is very hard to feel awe and wonder for a dead and empty cosmos. With a new realization that every material object and organism is emerging from the implicate field of being, our world would take on a completely different hue. We would see ourselves and our sojourner species on the earth as sharing in the magnificence of continuous creation. We might even begin to develop some form of collective or group consciousness, so that our identity becomes not the solitary, isolated, and self-referencing individual of today, but a part of something greater, a member of the Earth family. From that perspective, the problems of other humans, even humans completely across the earth, would be our own problems. As surely, if evolution could increase our consciousness beyond separation to include the whole earth, we would handle our stewardship of the earth differently. With a newly evolved consciousness, we might realize that the story of the cosmos from the Big Bang until now is our story. The cosmos has been creatively evolving itself for 13.7 billion years, and we are the current end product. With this realization in place, our consciousness expands far beyond the confines of the present moment and the separate individual. Consciousness itself becomes fascinating and mysterious, a vast field of sensitivity that flows through us from the universe rather than something that we produce inside our tiny brains. We might finally belong to the universe because in a literal sense, we are the universe. In order to grow into this new vision, however, we must be aware of living, evolving being beneath the surface of material reality. We cannot go forward until we recapture the reality of being. Having lost it, we are floundering and groping our way forward, surrounded by darkness. Development of a new consciousness would depend also on moving beyond cause and effect as the only operating principle in the universe. Thinking in terms of causation has been useful, and it has carried us a long way. Now, however, it has become an obstruction. It stands in the way of our growth. It obstructs the evolution and expansion of our consciousness. It is not large enough to encapsulate all of reality, and our attempts to view everything through the prism of cause and effect are distorting our understanding of reality. We don't need to jettison cause and effect. It works demonstrably well in the material world. We only need to supplement it with other truths. In the realms of consciousness and in the implicate realm of being, and occasionally in the material realm, cause and effect does not prevail. Other, more holographic processes reign. Those processes include harmonic patterns, held invisibly in the depths of being and relentlessly structuring reality. The patterns are the innate nature of being. They are the structuring, orchestrating function in reality. Every species on Earth, every organism, and every object we see around us are all patterned. Everything that we see in the world is a result of a deep order whose origin we cannot see. However, we can clearly see its result as the patterns move into the material realm. Somehow, the harmonic patterns have not been the focus of inquiry. Science has focused on the details of sub-patterns, each scientist in his own field. The macrocosmic level of pattern has escaped notice. Patterns are so obvious and so ubiquitous that they are taken for granted. They are here, however, everywhere structuring reality. They are the way that the cosmos presents itself. They are the way that unmanifest being turns itself into the material realm. Incorporation of harmonic patterns into our reality could enrich and deepen our lives. It could expand our understanding and experience, and it could resolve anomalies that exist in our present framework of reality. Jung's tentative foray into acausality, which he called synchronicity, was perhaps only the opening volley in a completely new understanding of reality. The discoveries of non-locality in quantum physics have further opened the door. If two bits of reality act synchronously together with nothing between them to conduce cause and effect, then another principle must be at work. That other principle may be harmonic patterns emerging into the material realm. We should make a place for them. Perhaps Jung's observations of synchronicities were only the tip of the iceberg, pointing toward a fundamental principle of reality that has not yet been explored. Perhaps consciousness and material reality emerge from the same deep harmonic patterns in being. Occasionally, they may emerge simultaneously in mind and matter, and present us with experiences that are incomprehensible in terms of cause and effect. We need desperately to evolve quickly into new understandings and a larger perspective on reality. As we face an unknown and perhaps perilous future, our job is to open our minds to new realities. Our old framework of reality is disappearing. It was not large enough. The new framework is not yet fully in place. We must do more than adapt to change. We must assist our own evolution. Flexibility is our best ally. The universe has a bias toward life. The fact that we are here as the current result of 13.7 billion years of evolution is proof of that fact. In this hour of crisis, the universe may assist our development into the deeper, broader understandings of reality that are necessary to our survival. Even while the storm clouds are gathering, perhaps being is crafting a solution in the form of a leap in evolution. Hope springs eternal.